What's something you all individually can do in this band that you can't do in your other separate music projects?
Oh.
How do we answer
Whose question was that? Nice one. For instance, like, what do you like? What would you say? Yeah.
I guess like for you, plus music like on the lines, as an example, it's very like it started off like as a punk hardcore, and you kind of get crazy with power chords and stuff, rather like just like.
Gotcha.
More,
So you yeah, be tougher. I get that. Well, I think that's one of the answers. I think is sometimes when you're in a band for a really long time, right? Whether you consciously know it or not, there is this pressure of legacy, right? So you've made these records, and then maybe you haven't made a record in a really long time, and people, latch onto the history of it, and like recently, I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a tangent. I apologize. Recently, I was home doing dishes, and I heard songs coming from my teenage girl's bedroom when she had friends over, and I heard some songs that I knew and some songs that I didn't, and then all of a sudden the song started to float down the stairs, and I was like, I know that fucking song. And I was like, oh my god, that's a My Chem song. I wrote that song when I was closer in age to her than I am to my age now. I was like, that's fucking weird, So sometimes when you've been in a band for as long as, say, I have or we have, it's hard to go back and write stuff and take chances of just being like, no, I'm just going to write what I feel, as opposed to being like, no, I have to write for this legacy act, or I have to write for the people that I was back then.
I was gonna say, yeah, but like Foundations is so cool and different.
I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, right? It's like you don't know sometimes. You might like it, but does it live up to what this idea that people have in the past? And I'm not saying that that's the right way to think about it, the wrong way to think about it. I'm just saying it's a pressure that gets entered into the equation that you don't really normally think of. And so with this band, there's none of that, because the band can just be whatever the band is, and I love that. I don't think you should instill these rules or boxes around art, right? And oftentimes you don't intend to do that, but because there is this legacy of this pressure, even whether you know it or not, that can kind of sometimes creep in. And so that's a really nice thing to have with this band, is that there's no expectations of what the band can be or is going to be, or what the next record is going to be, or the next song is going to be, because we're still just figuring it out. Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah, you said my answer.
That was perfect.
I also think with when you're in a band for so long, like say Thursday for 25 years or whatever, however the fuck long we've been in a band, I think you get stuck in ruts of what your job is in the band. You know what I mean? Like some people, one person's the art person, another person is the writer, the other person does the writes the lyrics. And I feel like in this band we can kind of capitalize on the things that we weren't able to capitalize in our other bands. Like sometimes I'll come up with merch designs. Sometimes, Tim will name the songs. You know what I mean? So it's like all that stuff that we don't do in our other bands because we're stuck in that same rut. And I don't mean that rut as a bad thing. It's just like you are in a job for so long that you just stay in your lane. You learn how to stay in your lane. But here we have we can merge, we can use our blinker and all that shit. All the driving references. You guys get it.
I definitely think having the ability to start over again at this stage in our lives with what we have, alongside what we've built together, is such a huge thing. People don't realize what a freeing thing that is for us to be able to do that. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and to that too, it's like, you know, I think I feel really lucky because you're always living life being like, oh man, if I could do this again, knowing what if I can go back in time and do something knowing what I know now. And I think that we've been able to do that, even on like the interpersonal level. A lot of being in a band is, even more so than the music itself. It's like in order to communicate musically, like you have to be able to communicate to each other as people. And there's always going to be things that happened 20 years ago that might, cloud how you want to approach something with someone, or like, I wish we could do something a little different in the song, but like, I don't want that person to think that I'm like just changing something to change it because we got into a fucking shitty fight like a week ago or whatever. Like being able to approach this and remove, and I don't say ego in like a narcissistic way, but just like to remove ego in general from the equation and really approach things, and like you said, like as the musicians we are today, because like the way I played bass or the way I wrote music 20 years ago is not how I do it today. So being able to kind of take all that and share that with these guys and create something together, it's been really, really amazing. And I think we all feel really lucky to be able to do this.
Musically, what's something you're each most proud of that you've made from this project or any of your other projects?
Yeah,
Fuck, LA.
I got a Jersey question.
That's a Jersey question?
No, I have one.
Oh, you have a
Just
Jersey
like
question?
actually occurred to me.
Oh, shit.
Oh, like going way
All right, should we call an audible real quick? Now I gotta hear it. What is it?
Okay.
If it's fucking Taylor
This just
Ham or
occurred to
fucking
me.
Pork Roll,
Has
kill you.
both Thursday and Pansy Prep been on the same lineup at both Birch Hill and Loop Lounge? Because I'm actually thinking not just Loop, I'm thinking I saw you both on the same bill at Birch Hill.
Okay. Oh,
I mean,
shit.
we're talking, turn back to him. Because I'm older than probably everyone here.
What was the second room at Birch Hill?
Like the big room.
The big room was Birch, and then the second room, the small room, I think.
Birch Hill had the awful, like, two-level stage
Oh, I
where,
know.
like,
Yeah.
everyone would fall.
So here's the thing. Mike had never played Birch Hill. We were scheduled to play Birch Hill. I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting it. So we were scheduled to play there with Sparta,
Okay.
and it was like dead of winter. And we showed up early, and our drummer at the time, Otter Matt, took a shit in the basement, and the pipes burst, and it flooded the entire venue, and they canceled the show. So we never got to play Birch Hill. But we played the small room, and Mike M headlined, and I Am a Graveyard played. And it was me, Hambone, and Sean from Pensy, and then Otter and Ray played in that band. I don't know if Thursday played that show. That would be the only time that we both played Birch Hill together.
But Loop, though.
Loop, definitely. Pensy and Thursday played.
I just,
Yeah.
it's like it just occurred to me because of the stupid stage, but I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
The only thing I gather from this is that the small room at Birchville had the
I did it at the same time. I don't know. Yeah, I'll never forget it because I was so mad. I really wanted to play that show.
I know
too.
that dates me. Like,
No, that's all right. Fuck, dates me too. Jesus. All right, so most proud. That story? I don't think so. All right, I'll pass it along and I'll start thinking about things. No? Yes? Okay.
I mean, I think it's really hard to pinpoint like a single thing. But I will say, being able to come to the table in this band with, either just a bass line or an entire demo of like, here's an idea for drums, bass, guitar. I don't fuck with vocals. But like to be able to bring that to the table and not have any insecurity about it, right? And not feel like it's the awkwardness of like, well, I'm not telling you what to play, but how do I approach this? It's just like, here's ideas, and whether it's you know, a fledgling idea or like a really fleshed out, you know, song, I'm really, you know, that's the thing I'm most proud of with this band is again the ego thing, but for me personally, just being able to get to that point where I'm comfortable enough to share that stuff, that's been the big thing for me.
I'm proud of Past Lives because it was never supposed to be a record, you know, it was just like us writing together and jamming just for an exercise for our brains, I felt. And then we made a record, and then, you know, people are like, oh, cool, you made a record with your side project. And it's like, fuck you. None of us have time for a fucking side project. We made a band. And then we made a little EP in the desert, which I'm super proud of. It was huge, a huge EP. It was a very large format EP. And people were still like, oh, cool, you made another EP for your side project. It was like, fuck you. All right, we're gonna do another record called Violet. And I think that I'm just proud of all of those things because we made something out of nothing in a time where, you know, a lot of music wasn't being made because of the limitations we had in the world. So, yeah, I just think I'm proud of those three things and the 100 more things we're gonna make together in the future.
There's some lyrics on, like, when we're playing together and I look up and I see everybody and I look at Tucker and I feel, I guess, what pride is. Like, I feel like a part of something. I feel just overwhelmed. Like, the entire experience is overwhelming. But there's a couple lyrics that I get to sing in this band that just like them, like the writing process of them and every night getting to sing them, like, is so powerful for me, and especially for the new songs. And like getting to sing Forgiveness and like the part we do in Fatal, where we do the thing for Forgiveness, and like that lyric of like just asking like to, you know, don't stop loving me. Fuck. When I think about that, it just gives me chills, and it's like one of the coolest things that I was ever a part of writing with people, and it's like a cool thing to say after like 2 years of like being like I wanted to kill myself every night at on stage because of songs, like to have a song where like you can say something else and you can ask for something and make a statement like, yeah, I'm scared that you don't love me anymore like you used to. And that's such a cool thing to say in relation to the audience who supports you, in relation to the people in your life, you know? And I feel so good every night getting to sing that. It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.